ever wanted a confidence button that you can just push when you need it? Well, today you do. Today we're going to talk about anchoring is something that I've helped a lot of people in getting into a resourceful state. Let's talk about the science behind it. If you think about certain things, your body just responds automatically. For instance, if I said, think about a lemon and imagine that you cut that lemon open, what will happen is that you would automatically start collecting saliva in your mouth because your body is getting ready for that experience. This is something that can help you because anchoring program the body that you can have a button on your body to go from being unresourceful to resourceful in 1 second, right? And I'm going to show you how to do that, right? So the process works as follows. So what we want to do first is to just maybe think of a time when you felt unstoppable. Important here is that this doesn't have to be a moment where you feel absolutely confident, but just when you achieved a goal, whether that is at a time when you did something that you thought you couldn't do, or maybe you did something that you had planned for a long time, maybe graduated or did something that made you really proud. For some people, it might even be the birth of a child. Whatever that is, there was a moment in which you've overcome something that you thought you couldn't and you did. And that's when it took belief for you to get there. And so think of that moment, think of it. As you think of it, you become aware of the feelings that were associated to that moment. So when you start vividly visualizing that experience, then you get the feelings that go with that. So if you want to, you can pause the video right here and think of a moment, and then we can continue. Right, so if we continue, then what happened was that you had that moment. And as you think of that moment, you can feel that energy in your body. And I want you to really feel it as best you can, right? And then as you feel that feeling building, and take your thumb and forefinger, put them together and press, then let go, right? So what's important is that you do that pressing just right at the peak of that state, whatever that peak of the state is for you, right? Next thing that you do is we do that again. So you can either think of another event, maybe you won a sports competition or something else that made you feel really proud, and you think of that event, or you can just do the same event again. You think of that event, you put your fingers together, and as you think of those thoughts, you bring these fingers and you press that together, and you notice what happens in your body. If you've done this right, you will have a subtle shift in your energy, and you'll become aware of that. All right. If you felt anything, drop a comment below. Right. If you didn't, then there's a few mistakes that people make. Sometimes they don't visualize very clearly. You don't need to have a clear visual, but you've got to associate with the feeling of what happened. Second thing that people do is the state, or sometimes they bring their fingers together after the peak of the state. In both cases, this won't work. And there's a few other reasons why this won't work. But for most people, there will be at least a subtle change. And so as you become more and more familiar with this, you'll get better and better. And you'll be able to shift your state quicker and quicker as you continue. If this was interesting to you at all, then press the like or subscribe buttons below. And then you can get ready for the next video. Because next, what we're going to do is we're going to look at reframing. Now, reframing and anchoring is something that you can work with together. If you bring the two of these together, you can produce really awesome quick results.